everyone, this is Nadia. I'm an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs into a healthy, empowered money story to live a balanced life. Happy New Year, happy 2022 to everybody who's watching this and everyone who's subscribed to our channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And this is going to be a really interesting video because it's a video content that I have discussed with many people. Some of my clients have discussed it with them at great extensive length. People who usually come and ask me for help, generally. And it's a topic that a lot of people are not covering in society, simply because maybe they've not made the spiritual connection to it. There are levels of understanding things as we go on. So, for the most part, people have understood narcissists, I'd say fairly well. That's what I would say. So today's topic generally we're going to cover is Djinn, the connection between Djinn, narcissists, and Black Goo, which is artificial intelligence, or also known as nanotechnology, or in recent times, graphene oxide. That is the Black Goo, basically. Okay, so this is I would say it's a pretty advanced topic. If you're new to the Black Goo, don't worry, be patient. I am going to cover what it is and what it's not. So I want to talk a little bit about 2022, the year generally. 21 has been a year that has completely changed humanity for the worse, not for anything good, by the way. And there is a lot that I can cover in that aspect, and there are many of you who have asked me questions for what's going on in the world, what's happening, what's coming, what's not coming. And the writing's on the wall and it's pretty obvious what's going on. And I would never degrade or put down any of my subscribers by spelling out the obvious as to what's happening. Because if I've said this in a previous video, that if you ever see me making a video that to explain what's happening in the world, it's almost an insult to people watching this because they already know it. So I'm trying to cover maybe some very simple topics, even in business and in personal finance, and in wealth strategy, and also self-esteem, those type of topics. But these type of topics that a lot of people are not talking about. Why? Like I've said, they don't know it, basically. Okay, so we're looking at narcissists. So let's start with that. And I'm gonna go for the lowest common denominator, or the lowest barrier to entry. Every single person has heard of a narcissist. Most of us have either had very, close encounters with them. I'm related to a whole bunch of them, unfortunately. I have escaped narcissistic abuse from men, from women as well. So I have experiences with narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, all cluster B family histrionics, because you can't avoid these people. They're everywhere. They're like a plague. So society has been engineered over the years to become increasingly vain, increasingly shallow, increasingly narcissistic, which is obviously it's very hurtful and painful, and the damage that these creatures, because they're not human, and I'm going to cover that in a short while. I actually did a video on this that I'll probably link, why narcissists are not human. And to escape this level of predator, yeah, you're going to have to be very well educated. Okay. And also have a lot of courage and strength, because they damage you. Narcissistic abuse damages to the core. So narcissists are a very, I don't want to say a simple thing to understand, but out of these 1, 2, and 3, these guys are the simplest to understand. Why? Because everybody's talking about it, everybody to a degree has narcissistic traits. What I'm really trying to talk about over here is NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. This is a very important topic that I want to cover. Just because somebody has narcissistic traits, or you see them behave in a narcissist fashion, doesn't particularly mean they're a narcissist. Because in this world, it's very difficult to be good, to be kind, to have good traits, because number one, people don't value them. Number two, people just think you're weak, you're shallow, you're stupid, so on and so forth. I won't really get into that. What I really want to cover is the hierarchy between these 3. Djinn. So Djinn as in spirits, narcissists, and the Black Goo, which right now everybody's like, oh my god, artificial intelligence, yeah, the shit that's actually turning you into machines, but carry on. Nanotechnology, that everybody understands it, which is actually being put into people's bodies at the moment as we speak. Most people willingly. I can't say much more on that. Everybody on this channel knows what I'm saying. And the real challenge that we're finding is not a lot of people are talking about the triangle connection between these with people at the bottom. So with that I'm gonna rub this off. And I'm gonna start drawing the triangle, and I'm gonna explain how it is and what's happening and the actual destruction of humanity. So, we've got a triangle. Hopefully it's big enough and everybody can see it. Okay, so we've got 4 layers. We've got first layer, second layer, and the third layer. Okay, so yeah, everybody can see this. Humans, Nox, Djinn, Black Goo, or AI, or nanotech. Okay, at the apex of the pyramid is what controls humanity. Since the dawn of time, it has controlled humanity. It has infiltrated the earth at its core. It is what we would call a sentient evil. So sentient simply means that it has feeling. So it is an intelligent liquid crystal. I want to say demonic in nature, but I'll just say evil. I won't say demonic in nature because there is even hope in that side. I'll just say plain evil. Many eons ago, probably what I want to say, is that humanity has been kept in the dark as to what our real origins are, where we come from, what happened. After the rebellion, after the fall, essentially, and there are 2 types of falls, basically. So everybody knows the story in religion where, you know, God put Lucifer to one side and so on and so forth. So we usually get the story of, you know, well, he was disobedient and rebellious to God, so that's why he got chucked out. But actually, let's look at it from the other perspective as well. So let's look at it from both perspectives. Let's look at it from God's perspective, let's look at it from the Luciferian perspective as well, which is very interesting. That way you get to be balanced and understand both sides as opposed to just demonizing one side. So the Black Goo is essentially, they've found different, I guess, resources of it in places like Peru, Uruguay, Paraguay, in South America, where it's this sticky oil. And you guys will know the videos that they have created on it, such as Prometheus. So, okay, I want everybody to Google Prometheus and the Black Goo. Just Google this, basically. Just start with that. And you'll notice that in one point, the guy actually consumes it and that black goo overtakes his body. Now, the goal of the black goo, essentially, is to destroy the human race. They're doing a pretty good job at the moment. Most people are already gone. They went last year. More people are going to follow. I'm not going to spell out the obvious. You guys know where this is going. What the black goo wants to do, it's essentially like a cancer or a virus. It wants to take over our planet because it's sentient, it's come from other solar systems, it's come from other places, and it's everywhere. That's the reason you see so much dirt, so much, you know, oh, I need to clean this, all of that is the remnants of the black goo. Now this thing, there's one thing I really want to discuss, and that's the QR code. Because it's gonna make, it's gonna make sense to a lot of people once I explain it this way. It might be a bit vague as I started out. Right, the QR code essentially is the digitized form of the black goo. In essence, when you look at the QR code, which is why I try and avoid looking at them, it's an attack on the third eye. So every time I see it, I'm like, no. I do my best not to scan it anywhere. I'm not doing it, you know. I mean, if it's absolutely unavoidable, then, you know, it's one of those where I'm just like this. I don't want to look at it. For most people, it's not going to affect them. And it's not going to affect them because they're not spiritually aware of things, or they don't have the knowledge, or they're not taught the knowledge. Or furthermore, even if you try and explain it, it's a frequency understanding. Now, language, before I start going down the pyramid and explaining to you guys, language is one of those funny things that until you have a low vibration, you have a middle vibration, and you have a high vibration. Your language, as in the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, your language determines and shapes how you think. So the higher vibration, the higher frequency you use when it comes to words, the easier it is to pull in good things into your life. So, you know, that's why they're using things like subliminals, and they're layering, unsurprisingly, djinn on a lot of like music videos, and in the recording studios. They actually embed this stuff onto the recording. This is not a joke. You guys can figure it out for yourselves. There's a lot of research. You can do it by yourself. So, the goal of the black goo, which is, most people will be like, what's black goo? So I'm going back to it. Everybody will have heard of this. Artificial intelligence and nanotechnology. The goal is to make humans non-human, the transhuman race. It's already underway. I have to sit here and waste my time. Again, I'm going to keep saying this as I keep going on the video. You guys can, everybody with their 3 eyes open, this one's open too, can see what's happening. Artificial intelligence, technology, and everybody say, yay! Oh my god! Artificial intelligence, yeah. From human to robot. That's the goal. They're very quick and fast and moving in that goal, and they're doing a pretty good job. Sadly enough, they want a humanity without humans. It'll be nothing but transhuman, basically. Okay, that's the absolute end goal, to finish humanity. Absolute end goal. They're doing very well, as I've said, and a lot of people don't get how they're doing it. Okay, now because of black goo, think of your average mainstream pedestrian narcissist. Childish, pathetic, disgusting, abusive, controlling, violent, mind games, triangulation, stonewalling, blah blah, gaslighting, you know, their favorite trick, so on and so forth. Everybody who knows narcissists knows how they rewrite your story. They will literally drive you around in circles, rewrite your story, and the first thing that narcissists do as somebody who's psychically gifted is they attack your chakra system, they depolarize you, meaning that it's a discombobulation. You can be very calm and stable, especially for people such as myself who are clairsentient or empathic. We can be like, it's like you're frazzled, basically, even being in the same room as them. I don't have to talk to them or say anything. Okay. So if the AI and the nanotechnology is the sentient evil, it is the feeling evil, and yeah, human beings can't even begin to imagine. Not the humans of today can't even begin to, unless you do sorcery or this type of work where you have a very good understanding of it. You can't even begin to imagine how bad the situation's become. Now we start looking at the trickle down, which is Djinn. Okay. The issue with a lot of this is that the black goo essentially controls Djinn, narcs, and humans. How? Because in essence, we over here at the pyramid are being controlled by all this. People don't realize it. Sadly enough, people think their thoughts are theirs, and that's not the case at all. All right. So we'll move as a trickle down, and we'll also go upwards so you guys can understand it. Any single person who has had black magic put on them, and by black magic, black can be good, black can be bad. So just because it's black to me doesn't mean it's evil, it means it's effective. So there is a healthy version of black magic you can do, which is very strong. There is a nefarious version. Usually with the way people are going these days, they choose the nefarious version where they're like, oh good, look, I have a tool and I can ruin people's lives with it. It's essentially a power trip and, you know, a way to gain control in a crazy world where it's a world for psychopaths by psychopaths. Okay, so if you have gone through that, and I'm going to discuss a little bit about this at the moment. If you have gone through that, what you're going to find is that or Djinn possession, just as myself, I had 4 Djinn put on me. What they did was that they put the magic on me and they attached the Djinn. Just as my aunt, by the way, on my father's side, one of my aunts did it. I think the cabal missed their opportunity to take her and recruit her for evil. You know, she's a level of evil. I won't get into it, but having been born into a family where you have an individual that way, you learn things pretty fast, and you have to learn them before you're dead. So, going back to what it is, I've had heavy evil black magic put on me, and obviously laced with 4 Djinn that you guys, a lot of you guys on this channel know the story, and I keep telling it because there is so much that those Djinn have taught me and in escaping them. In essence, being possessed by Djinn, and I want everybody to understand this well, is like narcissists but on steroids. Okay? So anybody that has escaped narcissistic abuse, yeah, you just think of that stuff being stuck on you 24/7, messing with your mind, messing with everything. I don't really have to go into it. Any person that has not been possessed by jinn or has not had jinn hold them can never understand the level of fuckery that I'm talking about. It's a level of fuckery that most people never escape. If they do escape it, they escape it by dying, so they kill you, or number two, at best, you're crippled, you're maimed, you're mentally crazy, and you're spouting nonsense on the street, or, my favorite, you're in a mental asylum. You don't get here and you don't teach classes about it. So, the point of this is that the jinn essentially are like the minions. So I have a friend who's quite close to me, and she is actually able, her ability is so strong that she's able to tune into the energy of this. So I'll try and rub off some stuff so you guys don't get confused as I go on. So I'm going to take this out, and hopefully you're making notes as stuff goes on. The goo essentially employs jinn who, you know, possess humans, and they can do its control and bidding. So think of everything that's narcissistic, sick, filthy, cancerous, just disgust, just a cancer to humanity. Where in actual fact, the real hunter, the big boss, think of the mafia, basically. So let me explain this a little bit more. I'll rub this out from here. So think of the mafia. You have the mob boss, and then you have the consigliere. I hope I spelled that right. If I haven't, please let me know. The consigliere basically is the right-hand man to the mob boss, and everybody, he is his, I guess, his ears and his eyes. So people usually think the consigliere is actually the boss, and he's not, because there's a guy on top of him, and then there are obviously other ranks in the mafia, so on and so forth. It's such a Scorpio thing to talk about this, by the way. The same thing is over here. People will think that it's Narcs with the problem. Not really. Because the connection between narcissists, jinn, and AI is, they're the same thing. I want you guys, like, man, if you're coaches, consultants, blah, blah, and you stack your offers, like you've got one offer at this amount, it's the same damn thing. They're just levels to it. So you've got a membership, one membership is X amount, then another membership is X amount, you get a little bit more with that. Then the premium tier, or the black label, as I call it in mine, is the ultimate. But it is literally the same thing trickled down. It's just as you go up the pyramid, it's more concentrated and more powerful. So the power really lies over here is what I'm talking about. So I would say the combination of jinn and narcissists, you will find that if you can understand jinn, if you have been possessed by jinn, if you have had experiences with jinn. Now let me make this clear as to what I'm saying. This is not about working with jinn. If you have control over working with jinn, or what I'm trying to say essentially is that you practice magic and you use jinn and they are under your command or your bidding, that's completely fine. This is when people are evil and they're just sending jinns after you to kill you, to make your life hell, to control you, because realistically, jinns are the one and only and the ultimate in mind control. If you can escape this, man, you can escape anything in the world. I tell people this. So let's move down the pyramid. Let me take this off so it's not confusing for everybody following on. Okay, right. Then we move down the pyramid. All right. When you have had jinn on you, magic on you, and it's taken out, you're gonna be 50 levels and 100 million times fucked up worse than when they were on you. Why? People come and ask me this question. People come to me, oh, you know, Nadia, I have jinn on me, Nadia, I have magic, Nadia, I have this, Nadia, all day long, everything. I hear about it all the time. That's one division of Spartanite that I'm dealing with. There are other things. Of course, Spartanite it's versatile, it's cross-silo. I deal with many different things. That's the advanced version of the other version of it. Okay. The PTSD or complex PTSD, or what I would call complex trauma, is very different from when you have gone through narcissistic abuse to when you have gone through jinn. Why? In essence, it can look like the same thing because, of course, anybody who deals with a narcissist is going to need serious level of counseling. They're going to need their esteem to be repaired because, by God, they steal everything from you. They leave you as a shell. In essence, narcissists are funny. They are thieves at the best way I can describe it. They take everything from you and then they infect you with lack. So you can be doing great till you meet one, but they, like predators, will always see the chinks in the armor, get in, destroy your entire life, fuck up your money, fuck up your finance, fuck up your mind, and go. That's it. And they're off onto the next person. And you know, when their energy supplies are running low, they'll come back and recycle you for another abuse round because they need energy, because it's like a helium tank. Okay. This abuse, narcissistic abuse, any counselor can understand. Person who has come from a narcissistic family, who has no contact with them, and there's a very good reason you don't, who comes from an ability to understand this, the narc bit of the pyramid, that is easy to explain. A lot of counselors or a lot of people are very well versed in, you know, this person destroyed my life. Of course they do. That's what they do. They're a cancer. You know, they've gaslit me. They made me question my own reality. I can't trust. I'm shut off. I went through abuse. Yeah. All these things I read on Instagram. Life after narcissist. Life after this. Life. Thank God. I always say to people, thank God everybody that escapes them. For one person that escapes them, there are 10 million that don't, unfortunately. So, however, my point of what I'm trying to say is that narcissist... Okay, let me write this down. Narc abuse is... I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. Understandable. Narc abuse is understandable. People will give you empathy, but like, man, it's difficult. You'll come out of it. Some people don't. You to overcome that type of abuse and be yourself again is very difficult. That's the simple part. I'm not saying it's simple. I don't want anybody to get onto this channel and be like, you know, who does she think she is? I myself have ran from it, and I know how difficult it is to remove those imprints. That if you don't remove those imprints, you'll keep getting abusive people consistently. But let me tell you the real kicker over here. It's this. PTSD and CPTSD. Okay, so people usually think PTSD is, oh, you know, veterans or people going to the war, somebody had a car accident. I'm mentally strong. That's the reason I just ended up with complex trauma. I should have ended up with something called polyfragmented dissociative identity disorder for the level of damage that both narcissists and Djinn have left me with. I should have ended up with that. I didn't. I used a lot of magic to heal myself, and that's something I deal with people. There are levels of trauma you cannot heal without magic. That is just plain and simple, and I make it very clear for people. Okay. The PTSD, or usually, when you're dealing with Djinn, it's never PTSD, it's always complex trauma. Imagine what narcissists do with you, but Djinn, it's like it's on steroids. So if it's already bad enough that you dealt with this, now you gotta deal with this, and yeah, it's a different level. They rewrite your whole reality. So some people have come to me and said, you know, you took Djinn out of me, or, you know, you removed black magic from me, or the nefarious type, okay? The stuff that people fear, and for good reason. I feel worse after you did it. There was a guy that came to me, he screamed and yelled, this was probably about 3 years ago, I guess. And he said to me, oh, you know, I don't think you did the right work. And I said, well, why is that? And he was like, I feel worse. Yeah, that's how you know it's worked. What? For me, when the 4 were pulled out of me, I didn't know what was going on. All I just felt that night was, okay, well, I can sleep a bit better and I can finally sleep in peace, because they were really hell-bent. They were sent to kill me. They, even during my exorcism, when they spoke out of me, they were pulled out of me. You know, the last Djinn that was pulled out of me very clearly, and I have the recording, basically. The imam who is pulling it out of me, you know, we are sent here to kill this woman. And the imam says, why? What has she done with you? Nothing. She hasn't done anything. But her aunt has paid sorcerers 3 times the amount to kill her. Just the way her dad died. yeah, it's a whole different level. And when you hear actual spirits saying that, and they're sent, and the imam's like, you're not gonna kill her because she hasn't done anything to you. So obviously there was a ruqya, which is an Islamic exorcism. It was pulled out of me. I'm clean and I'm grateful. That's why I choose to teach this stuff, because there's so many people that are stuck and they don't understand what's happening with them. When this stuff is pulled off you, magic is taken from you, someone's put magic to control you or to block you or to kill you, we don't know. It can be used for very bad purposes. It can be used for very healthy purposes, such as, you know, helping people with money, helping people with self-esteem, growing people, removing blocks. So it's a tool. Magic is not evil. Please stop thinking that magic is evil. It is not. It's like money. It's a tool. If people have bad intentions, they will only use it for bad purposes. If people have good intentions with it, they will use it for good purposes. So it is more about a person's intentions inside than the tool in front of them. Money is just, it can be a piece of paper. It's like monopoly paper. That's fiat currency. I don't know, you can either feed an orphanage or you can go bomb a country. It doesn't make the money bad. It's just, it's a tool to use. So, go back to my point, lots of people are like, I feel worse after, you know, my whole life has fallen apart after you've taken it off. Why? Your whole life has not fallen apart after I've taken off jinn from you or magic. What's really happened is now the blindfold has come off you, and you can now see all around you as to how bad the magic or the jinn, and most especially jinn, because that's what I'm talking about in this video, has damaged your life. And when I say damaged, it's a car crash. I just want you to guys imagine the worst car crash that your mind can imagine. But that car crash is your life, and you have to fix that car. You can't just throw away the car and say, I'll get a new one. You can't throw away your life. You can't take somebody else's life. You have to fix your own life. The PTSD that is left by jinn, and the PTSD and the complex trauma is some of the most difficult things to heal. Why? Because most people don't understand what it is. Oh no, you've made it up. Oh no, it can't be that bad. Oh no, this. Oh no, that. Oh no. Jinn know exactly what they're doing. There is a huge acrimony between jinn and human. That is a different video I'm gonna cover as to why jinns really, for the most part, can't stand us. The jinn really don't like us humans. They think they're above us. They're very vain, and they think they're superior to us because they can see us, but unless you have the gift of psychic sight, you cannot see them or you cannot sense them. And they love the fact that people are easily frightened by them. The more frightened you are of something, it's essentially what the elite do when they do their evil rituals. And the more they can terrify and scare people for adrenochrome, and the more they can frighten people into things, then, you know, it's tastier. Sorry, but that's just the truth. It's sick, but I have to cover that. Okay, so in essence of me saying that, it's like a hierarchy and a pyramid. So lots of people are like, oh, we hate narcissists so much, but they're not your enemy. These guys are being controlled by them, being controlled by them. Okay, so that's why there is such a huge push in society, such a huge push of everybody. Let's go digital, let's do this, AI, oh my god, technology, because it's this here that's controlling everything down here. And what has happened, and essentially people would ask is, isn't there a missing spot? Anybody who's smart is going to think, oh, there's a missing spot between the Black Goo and the jinn. Actually there is. Hang on, let me write it down. You're ruling 1%, the elite. So essentially what they've done is they have made pacts with non-human races to destroy humanity. So in essence, they sold us into enslavement without most humans knowing this, and they're very happy to keep you distracted and entertained so that you never figure out what's really going on or what's happening. So if this is in the middle of this, how are they controlling people? Well, the first way they control you is essentially do the same thing that jinns and narcissists are doing, which is mind control. How are they doing mind control? Very simple. Media. TV. TV is a very evil thing. People love watching it for hours and hours. God only knows why. Their minds are empty. You know, they have TV thoughts and watch TV dinners, and it's just insane. It's just hypnosis. That little wheel. Okay, let me try and draw it so that it will understand. Guys will understand what I'm saying. TV. TV operates on hypnosis. If you are conscious, most people are not, they're googly eyed. You look at kids when they watch TV, you always get this. You always watch like, why? Because it's a trance. TV, trance. They need to get that information into your subconscious mind. So what the TV does is it bypasses your conscious mind. You don't see it's actually going here. The same thing with music, the same thing with all media. This is not because I'm stuck up and boring, it's because I'm teaching a class over here that's important for people to know what's happening. So people are growing up on this. Parents can't be bothered. Here, take the phone. Here, go watch TV. But you don't know what your kids are watching. You don't even know what you're watching. That's the point. There was a flicker rate, so I'm going to write this down. There is a flicker rate on this TV, essentially. If you sit and the TV is like this, where I am, and I just sit and put my head down, the speed that the frame changes at is a flicker rate, and it messes with your mind. It's the worst type of mind control. Not to mention phones. Phones are obviously reverse reflexology. They glue your mind to the actual screen. I'll get into that maybe at another topic, maybe at a later time. But the point I want to cover over here is, and the TV is a bit of a deviation, I didn't actually think that I'd be covering the TV quite quickly. Djinn, Narcs, Black Goo, which is obviously very famous in movies such as Venom, where they've covered one side all with that dirty, slimy, nasty black shit. That's the Black Goo. It's sick and it's evil, and it's taking over humanity. It's already infected the core of the earth. You know, the earth is miserable 24/7, and people have made a point never to respect human beings. Us human beings were given this planet, the earth is the most beautiful planet that God must have ever created. And he gave it to us, the humans, which we are the highest creation of God's empowerment, which is why most other races, they don't summon us, we summon them. Till today, we have power over them. They're not going to like me saying that, but it's true. Humans have fallen from such grace, and it's so sad to watch what our race has become, or rather has been turned into, that now, sadly, we have to consult those type of spirits to get ahead, which is, it's sad, but it's true, and that's part of life. We can't do much about it. So, really, the connection between the Djinns, the Narcs, and the Black Goo essentially is just two words, and that's mind control. Djinns are masters at mind control. Masters. There's no other word. If you ever want to learn mind control, Djinn. They will change your thoughts in seconds. There are situations that have, for lack of a better term, damaged me so much, and I've had to psychologically recover from that trauma because I knew that individual was bad. I knew that situation was bad. I didn't want to go towards it. The Djinns twisted my thoughts around in seconds and made angels look like devils and devils look like angels, and that's what they do. Okay? So what I want to say in conclusion of this video is that understand the levels of mind control, understand where it goes, and remember to always ask yourself, am I actually being controlled, or is something controlling me? Because these three things, this is the pyramid, and if anything, if the Black Goo and the artificial intelligence is actually heading it, then you know the rest of humanity is completely done for. So all these things, there is a huge connection between all of them. Lots of people don't cover it because they're dealing with narcissistic abuse from a mental perspective that's not healthy. Okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll say that again. This is my first video of 2022. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I look forward to continuing on this topic series where you guys can ask me questions, and I'll probably do some topics as we get along. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I hope you have a good one.